Shabbat Shalom. Wow, this is very loud. I'm going to invite folks to come close, 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 close. We were with Joey Weisenberg on Tuesday here in the sanctuary, and he was like, for every inch you move closer to each other, song builds. He's like, think of us like a bonfire. Think of us like a bonfire of prayer, and we're kindling. Each of our voices is kindling. So of course you don't have to move anywhere. This is not coercion, but it is invitation, strong invitation. This month has been my month of practicing being bossy. I've been bossy in public many times in my rabbi role, and I'm just trying that again now. Please come closer. Oh, I'm leading. Thank you. That's incredible. Welcome, John. Come on in, everyone. Good Shabbos. Come close. And this is the other thing. I'll invite you. Is anyone here for the very first time tonight? Okay, fantastic. Yay, welcome. So whether you're here for the first time or the 1000th time, I'm going to invite you to pretend like you come here every week, like this is your place. And as people come in, gesture them closer. Be like, come sit with me. I'm so glad you're here. Because this is the way that we connect with one another. This is the way we build our song. Good Shabbos. Yeah. Your girl is vamping. We have a few minutes. We have a few minutes. We'll sing a nigun in just a moment. But thank you so much. But remember, we get to practice saying, come closer. Hello, Rabbi Joe. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm just going to start. I need to get it out now.
Yeah. I really should have brought remember the sparkle too. I could put on my sparkle thing. That feels. I don't know. That's a
Say Happy Pride. I think it would be like happy Pride. Wait, what was the word for Pride?
Think of that. Yeah, I think of that as like not a good word in the same way that pride can mean something like not great.
Sure, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I've just been saying how Pride something.
I mean, that's so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Also, we're going to do Mizmor Shir after the Father's Eve, where it should be. I think that's different from us.
Hi, Joe. Good to see you.
We have grandparents in town.
Ooh.
Wow, did he just land? That's important clarification. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. We can make noise, it's okay. This is actually like a very nice place to be. We're all choosing to come here to welcome Shabbat. It's Pride. It's beautiful outside. We're going to talk in a minute about all the feelings, but for a moment, let's just make some noise and take a breath and greet each other, and we'll sing Good Shabbat.
Kol dodi hine zeba. 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 Kol dodi
Shabbat Shalom. It is really good to see you. So I'm going to take us on a tiny emotional journey. I'm going to describe my own emotional landscape from today and from this week. Perhaps it will resemble your emotional landscape and perhaps not, but I invite you to take a journey with me. This week has got me really feeling apocalypse vibes. Like a lot of despair, a lot of feeling of the coming apart. And I will confess that I spent a solid part of this afternoon pretty flattened by the feeling of the undoing. Okay? And I'm going to show you, these are my kids. They are here on Zoom. They are pinned because they're cute. So I don't have a lot of luxury. They're going to see themselves. It's going to be a meta moment for them. I don't have a lot of luxury to actually let myself experience despair because they don't let me, which tells you how powerful this time is, right? And I was thinking about how to come into Shabbat together and how to celebrate Pride together and how to be human right now. And what I want to invite us right now, tonight, to practice, which I know many of us are already inside and we're already practitioners, is things are falling apart. Things are falling apart. And inside of that falling apart is all sorts of possibility of creation. I think, this is where I came, I think one of the first acts as we reach towards creation is the willingness to laugh. I say the willingness to laugh and not laughter, because I think it will take us some time. But I want to invite us as we come into Shabbat, where we center beauty and we center rest, to remember that we have so much possibility. Every week the world is created. Every week the world is created. We sing that in Vishamru. We become tenders of creation. And by creation, that can look like making the world anew, which is scary. So on this Shabbat, I should say it's scary and it's awesome. It's that language of Nora, right? Of like being awesome and also being full of awfulness. So I'm offering this to us, not like it's a fully formed thought, but as a kavanah, as an intention for this Pride Shabbat, that we not look away from the things that are falling apart, but that we refuse to let it put us in a place of despair. We refuse to let it make us passive. We have power and we have beauty. Look around, please, oh you humans. And we are smart, and we are funny, and we are brave, and we are in relationship, and we have song. So I just want us to, and that's not all we have, but I want us to dive in, so I'm not going to keep listing. But I just want us to start there. Start us not in the place of, and this is what we're going to do, big picture, but on what is our task on Shabbos? How do we welcome Shabbat and say, here we are? Can we open to the willingness to laugh at the absurdity of it all, maybe? That's all. Can we find each other beautiful? Can we be brave in our song? Low stakes bravery. Can we take a breath? Can we soften? Can we trust? Can we learn? And can we give each other, it's a consent process, can we consent to welcoming Shabbat together? We are so lucky to be in community together. We are so lucky to get to be led in prayer by MJ Gilbert and Sophie Gutierrez. Like, I cannot even. We are so lucky to get to learn with Naomi Waldtower, who has graduated and is back with us to teach. Yay for you. Thank you. And we are so lucky to be led also by Rabbi Joey Glick, who has been holding our community really tenderly for 2 whole years now. What is that even? What is time?
The hazing is over.
Ay, ay, ay. So let's sing. Shall we? Let's just take a breath. Let's sing. I'm going to invite us as the first step, as a step, to just let the song flow. Let your voice flow into space. Let the breath be a precursor of song. Happy Pride. Good Shabbos, everyone. Page 12. We'll keep singing. We'll turn to page 13, which is the same page, just on the other side. Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Adonai, Kol haaretz.
Shir Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Baseru miyom liyom Yeshuato.
Safer HaGoyim, Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim, Niflaotav.
Ki gadol Adonai, umulal me'od, nora'u al kol Elohim. Ki kol Elohei hamim evim v'Adonai shai shamayim asar.
Hod ve'hadar lefanav, Oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho.
ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלואו
יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל הצער מפני אדוני כי בא לשפוט הארץ
ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו.
We'll turn to our colorful sheets and sing Ana Bechoach, number 1.
Anna bechoach gedulat yemincha tatir zerura kabel rinat amcha tzadkeinu tareinu nora Anna bechoach gedulat yemincha tatir zerura kabel rinat amcha tzadkeinu tareinu nora Anna bechoach gedulat yemincha tatir zerura kabel rinat amcha tzadkeinu tareinu
In a moment, we'll turn to page 20, singing through the words of L'Chadodi. It's the tradition in our community to, for those who want to go outside for the last verse of the song. In a few minutes, Naomi's going to be sharing with us, telling us more about the history of this place that many of you all experienced. And I'm thinking specifically of the ways in which Rabbi Offner and this community blew the doors off of the closet of institutional Judaism. And I love the sight of us every night on Friday night being a proud, visibly queer community dancing in the streets of South Minneapolis. And I want to bring that memory of our history and this presence in our reality onto the street tonight.
Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor zachor v'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad V'shemo tiferet v'helit chila Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat v'lecha Ki mekom סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קום מקצעים מתוך ההפכה רעב שבת בימך הבכה וכו יחמול עלייך Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Yidnari me'afar kumi Div shebigdei tifartecha mi דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקמי מה תשתכי ומה תהמי ביחסו אני עמי ונבנתה עיר הגדילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו לי שישה שוסייך ורחקו כל גבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כיוס חתן על חתן לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני אל תריצי על יד איש פן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עשרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה. Now they're going to march back in here thinking that they're done. I want them to come in knowing that we've just begun. Yalla, yalla, la, yalla, yalla, la, yalla, yalla, la, yalla, la, 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 yalla, la, 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 ay, yalla, ay, yalla, yalla, la, 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 yalla, 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 la, 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 yalla, yalla, la, yalla, yalla, la, yalla, la, 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 yalla, la, 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה יאללה יאללה לה יאללה יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה יאללה לה יאללה יאללה לה יאללה יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה. Shabbat shalom.
Sure. We'll light Shabbos candles. Some Shabbatot, you can begin with lighting candles. Some Shabbatot, you need to sing your way into this mitzvah. Some Shabbatot, the rabbis forget to light candles at the beginning of the service. You can find the words for our blessing on page 2.
But here, let's invite people up. Come up, and let's whoever wants to come up and light candles, please, in honor of pride, in honor of this moment of delight and being together, and the mitzvah of welcoming Shabbat. Please join us on the bima. You don't want to lay alone. Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. We'll continue with one more song of Kabbalat Shabbat. You'll find the words on page 22.
Mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat. Mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat.
We'll turn towards our evening service beginning on page 28. Rising in body or rooting. Ya da da ya 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 ya. Hi da da ya 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 da da ya 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 ha da da ya 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 yo. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Folks can be seated. On page 30, we praise a God that brings darkness, who changes time. And as we daven together on this time near the summer solstice, I want to invite us to take in this moment of light coming through our windows and hold it in our heart as a precious thing, so that when we swing around to the winter solstice in 6 months, this moment of sun, this moment of presence and joy is with us and can warm us. We'll take a breath in and out.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובלילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים.
We turn to page 32. This prayer thanks God for bringing love into the world, and on this pride, I'm thinking particularly of the love of our queer ancestors, of all of the Jews who have, all of the Jewish LGBTQ folks who have brought their love out of the closet into this community and others. Let's take a big breath in and out.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
If it's your tradition, feel free to rise or root on page 34 for the Shema. Shema.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You can be seated. Ve'ahavta
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת
b'ham
בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohechem emet. It's my joy to invite John Ornstein, beloved choir director, to the bima to offer a kavanah. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
We're about to daven Micha Mocha, so I wanted to say a few words about Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha it's from what is probably the oldest part of the Bible, the song of the children of Israel after they crossed the Red Sea. The first thing they did, the Torah tells us, was burst into a remarkably well-constructed poem set to music. Jews have dominated show music ever since. Micha Mocha is also striking because of all the things the children of Israel could have done instead. They could have kneeled and let Moses, through Aaron, offer up a prayer. They could have said a Shehechianu, because in the world of the Torah and the Talmud, all things are possible. They could have danced, which was the next thing they did, thanks to Miriam, but not the very first thing. Or they could have just raised 3 cheers and a big thank you. But the reason for singing, I think, was probably the same over 3,000 years ago as it is now. And I say this on a night of beautiful singing. I could have come here any night and found a night of beautiful singing. We sing when words, no matter how well crafted, just aren't enough. It's one thing to praise God by saying, Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael, which we're about to. And quite another to sing, Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael, or something like that. The point is, some things are beyond words. Some words gain meaning, hidden meaning, that is unlocked by music. And by the way, this works in the other direction. Words can give cognitive meaning to music, which brings me to show music again. I just like telling this story. At a New York party, a woman was introduced to the wives of Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein, creators of the musical Showboat. She said to Jerome Kern's wife, "Oh, your husband wrote Old Man River." And Dorothy Hammerstein said, "No, my husband wrote Old Man River. Her husband wrote ba, 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 ba." And that's why Dorothy Hammerstein was not invited to parties. No. But coming back to the point here, being at Shir Tikva means knowing what music and words can do together. And on the High Holy Days, we feel that more than ever, and we feel uplifted by it. And why, you may ask, am I suddenly talking about the High Holy Days when it's June 28th? Because just around the corner, we start choir rehearsals. So, if you feel uplifted by the sound of the choir on Rosh Hashanah, if you feel that the words on the page are only half of prayer and the expression of them is the other half, I hope you'll consider joining us and adding your voice. And, you know, when I thought of speaking to you, I didn't realize that we would all be somewhat depressed, and that tonight would also be Pride Night, a reason for not being depressed. But one thing that we do when we sing is we bring everybody together, and the differences don't matter. And the power that we have, that Rabbi Ariel talked about, becomes so clear and so palpable. So I hope you'll think about joining the choir, because just about every one of you, in fact, I'll say every one of you enjoys singing and can sing and would enjoy being with us. And what the choir adds to the High Holiday services is also beyond words. So give it a thought, and I'll tell you, we also sing Micha Mocha.
Yes. Yesher koach. We'll turn together and sing Micha Mocha, page 40. We'll become a choir.
Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha le'edav HaKodesh, את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Turn to page 42.
Ufrois aleinu sukkot, sukkot, shalom echa, ufrois aleinu sukkot, sukkot, shalom echa, ufrois aleinu sukkot, sukkot, shalom echa. Baruch atah Adonai abore sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'al Yerushalayim.
We'll rise and body your spirit on page 44.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם. ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We'll flow into silent time, beginning with song on page 46.
We'll turn together to page 62.
Say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Shalom b'mroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Yalla la la la, yalla yalla la. Yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, oh yalla la 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 la, yalla yalla la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, hey yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, oh yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la, yalla la la
We'll turn now to page 253. We'll pray for healing of body and spirit. We'll sing and then pause, and I invite you please to share names of people who you're praying for. I'm going to invite you to share them in one gusty offering, and then we'll seal in song.
Mi sheberach avotenu mikol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before Imotenu Mikol Habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Oh my goodness, what a privilege. What an honor. What a joy. Naomi, will you come and teach us some Torah? Do people know Naomi? Well, if you don't know Naomi, they're around here for part of the summer. We feel really lucky to have you.
Thanks. Let me just unfold this thing here. Well, I'm Naomi. I'm really honored to be here and have the opportunity to share Torah, both on account of Shir Tikva really being my spiritual and communal home for every year of my life, and also for this being the Shabbat that coincides with Pride festivities in the Twin Cities. This past year, I wrote my senior thesis in history on the founding of Shir Tikva. And tonight, I'm really grateful to be able to bring some of the themes of my research as we celebrate our community's 36th anniversary. So in short, Shir Tikva was founded in 1988 after a group of Mount Zion congregants left the shul because of a community conflict around the permissibility of having a lesbian rabbi on the pulpit. Less than 6 months after an initial interest meeting, the new Reform Congregation of the Twin Cities, that's us, hired Stacy Offner as the rabbi. She became the first openly lesbian rabbi in the country to hold a mainstream pulpit. Through my research, I learned a lot about the details of this conflict, of the pain felt by so many people, and of the legal and logistical stages of a fracturing community. After writing nearly 80 pages, I feel like I have only a basic understanding of how and why our community came into existence. But mostly, I just have more questions. I've been thinking a lot about how I might find some answers or guidance in our Torah portion this week, Shalach Lecha. Here we find the Israelite community having left Egypt, but having not yet found a permanent home. And God asks Moses to send 12 spies, one from each tribe, into the land of Canaan to assess whether the entire community should make headway towards conquering the land. After 40 days, the men returned. They reported that yes, the land there was fertile, yes, the cities were fortified, and yes, the people there were strong. 2 of the spies, Caleb and Joshua, announced to the community their optimism of the Israelites' strength, even in the face of a strong other. They encouraged the Israelites to move towards the land. The other 10 spies, however, expressed doubt. The men they encountered in Canaan were far too numerous and strong. The scouts said that they felt like grasshoppers before them. This self-deprecation gave away an opportunity for the spies to define their community as strong and capable of moving forward even though there were challenges ahead. And Caleb and Joshua, in the minority opinion, found themselves and their leadership isolated and siloed away from the majority. So the community at this point is fractured. Some cried, if only we had died in Egypt, while others blamed God for bringing them out of slavery only for them to be killed in battle. Caleb and Joshua again appealed to their community, literally like bowing before them on their faces, assuring them to have no fear, that they trusted God would keep them safe as they progressed forward. This assurance that they offered was met with threats to pelt them with stones. The Parsha then goes on to explain that for their loyalty and their trust in God and their refusal to perceive themselves as grasshoppers, Caleb and Joshua's tribes would be rewarded, and they could enter the land. The rest of the Israelites, for their doubt and dissent, are punished with wandering in the desert for 40 years. The entire generation lost to the wilderness. When we think about our Jewish tradition, it's a lot easier to say, well, all of the Israelites wandered in the desert for 40 years and then arrived in the land of Canaan and lived happily ever after the end. But what ends up happening when we tell this kind of history is an overlooking of our most interesting details. We overlook the internal conflict that it took to get to our promised land, to complete the liberation of our entire community. It's hard to hear that some of us got there quicker than others. It's hard to hear that the Calebs, the ones confident in the face of adversity, were rewarded, while the ones without confidence, the ones who hesitated, were punished so severely. It's challenging to recognize conflict and rupture as part of an innovative Jewish tradition. But despite the challenge, this Parsha demands that we linger here, in the middle of the desert, at a moment where the Israelite community is at a crossroads and cannot agree on how to move forward. This Parsha urges us to not be afraid to explore these crossroads, these tensions, these disagreements. And as we read it in light of Shir Tikva's 36th anniversary, we're prompted to understand our community's success also as a product of conflict. Many of us Minnesotans know that conflict is something we can avoid addressing, remembering, let alone honoring. As we celebrate our community's longevity, we also have to remember and engage with our history. So, history. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, we see an emergence of queer Jews gaining visibility in our Jewish community. As a force invested in facilitating and upholding traditional family structures, religious institutions fell behind the times in addressing the changing realities of the Jewish community and the Jewish family. At that time, there were no openly lesbian rabbis holding a pulpit at a mainstream shul. At this same time, though, there were communities around the country with a vision of a Judaism that challenged queer exclusion. After the painful fissure at Mount Zion, a group of Jews from the Twin Cities came up with an idea to create a new synagogue that prioritized queer inclusion. And they were unsure whether their idea was fringe. To their surprise, more than 100 people came to the initial public meeting in April of 1988. Lesbian and straight couples sat side by side. Together, they envisioned a Judaism that prioritized justice and inclusion. They discussed what their Jewish values taught them about creating a community attuned to the plight of queer Jews, who for far too long had been forced to conceal their identities to fit into mainstream Jewish life. The Parsha this week asks us to lean away from the notion that we can smooth over the conflict in our synagogue's history. When we lean on historical cliches and linear narratives, we overlook our most important lessons and we forget our most valuable questions. Questions like, when is a community ready for change? And when is rupture and conflict required for progress? I don't think that the story of Shir Tikva's founding and this week's Parsha are directly analogous. It is, though, a connection that ties us to our tradition. Progress doesn't come in a linear package. It's achieved through struggle, challenge, and sometimes rupture. In a favorite book of mine, Torah Queries, which is a book of Parsha commentary taken through a queer lens, Rabbi Camille Shira Angel highlights that in this week's Torah portion, God credits Caleb's ruach acheret, his different spirit, for his optimism and his clarity. Rabbi Angel draws a comparison to the queer community's intimacy with this ruach acheret, that our being other is precisely what allows for our transformation and our innovation. Queer or not, the founders of Shir Tikva remind me of this ruach acheret. They had the vision and foresight to create a new community, one committed to queer inclusion, despite mainstream Judaism's explicit prohibiting of queer leadership in the synagogue. This embrace of a ruach acheret was and continues to be a core principle of Shir Tikva. It's an emotionally complex task to situate our synagogue's history in line with our biblical mythologized tradition. It's complicated to look at ourselves and see more than ourselves. It can be painful and exhausting to, even for a moment, reject the idea of linearity, of smooth beginnings, or smooth middles, or smooth ends. The early years of Shir Tikva were marked by many of these crossroads. And our community was and remains committed to the confidence and clarity exhibited by our ruach acheret. As we continue prioritizing justice in a queer-affirming community, we can hold on to our progressive clarity, our historical complexity, and our connection to our biblical tradition. Shabbat shalom.
Yasher koach. This is such a hard parsha. This is such a hard parsha, like heartbreaking parsha, and thank you so much for gifting us this idea of ruach acheret. I feel like you're returning a superpower to the community. So thank you for that, and I really hope for more chances to learn with you this summer and beyond. Kol hakavod, yasher koach. We're going to bless. That's okay. I guess I'm wondering first, would you be willing to raise your hand if you were here in 1988? Was anyone at that first 100-person meeting? Oh my gosh. So thank you. Thank you. As we hear this story and as we celebrate, just really feeling that sense of history being told and also bodies in space who remember that day. Just really thank you. And thank you. Okay, we're going to bless. We'll use the words on our colorful sheet, and then we'll use the words of our beloved blessers on Zoom. Hamalach hagoel oti, hamalach hagoel oti mikol ra, yevarech et hane'arim, v'yikarev hahem shemi, v'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak, v'yirgul harov b'kerev haaretz, yisimchem Elohim kesara, kerivka, kerachel uchelea, כפריים וכמנשה, יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. יללי, 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 Yalalai, 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 yayo, yalalai, 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 yalo. May we be confident enough in our principles to violate unjust regulations. May we be the keepers and sharers of light and song to help usher in a new world.
May we often have this ruach acheret. May we never forget what it means to be queer. May those of us who need help receive it. May we always approach first with loving kindness. May we have the strength and insight to know when it's best to cut ties and when to keep loving into relationships that may just need some special tending. May we be blessed with song and the knowing of our history as we move in a non-linear path. May our complex history help us hold many truths at once, together in community. May we know how powerful we are together. May we safely welcome our intense anger and upset and let it fuel righteous action. May we build our capacity for conflict. And I'm going to wait for one more because I know we are not going to end with conflict. It's going to come. We're going to sing. I can feel it coming. The blessing is coming. Ya-la-la, ya-la-la, ya-lo. Ya-la-la, ya-la-la, ya-ya-ya-ya-ya-yo. Ay-ya-la-la-la, ya-la-ya, ya-la-ya-la-ya-yo. Okay, here. There's a compromise. May we all find a soft landing this week, and may we build our capacity for conflict. Can you hear it son? Ya-la-la, ya-la-la, ya-la. Ya-la-la, ya-la-la-la-la, ya-ya-ya-ya-la-la. Ya-ya-la-la-la. I bow before the wisdom of the Zoom minion who
Zoom
knows
board.
the blessings, the Zoom of forgive me and kol hakavod. And thank you for inspiring such beautiful blessings. So we'll begin to conclude our service. Let's turn together to page 284 and rise en route.
Shevot, Shevota, Helevavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, Shevota, Helevavecha, Ki Havaya. We've had a tradition in our community for the last 10 months, since October 7th, to sing the words of Oseh Shalom one more time in our service, to mark the fact before Mourners Kaddish that there are too many names to name of all the folks that have died in Israel and Gaza and the West Bank since October 7th. I invite us to hold those names in quiet for a moment. Oseh Shalom Bimroma. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Before we move on with Mourners Kaddish, I'd like to invite Jen Dawson to frame some words on this Pride Shabbat of the LGBTQ elders that we've lost.
There is a meditation before Kaddish that reads, "Love doesn't die, people do." Pride Month is a time of celebration, but it's only been 8 years since Pulse filled with people brave enough to keep dancing in the heart of Florida. And someone hated them for it. A few weeks from when a student here in our community was targeted, 8 months since my wife and I fled Nebraska, 6 days since my brother uninvited us from his wedding. Right before I was born, an epidemic sprawled through the queer community that took from us artists, friends, siblings, community leaders, each one a possibility and a spark of the divine wiped out. But love is love, and love does not die. And before that, Marsha P. Johnson, the Lavender Scare, the book burning outside Magnus Hirschfield's hospital that led to decades of transmedical research in healthcare destroyed. Oscar Wilde, raids on Molly houses, the colonization that brought a gender binary back and back and back. How many names were erased? How many people were erased? On Shabbat, we say the names of the dead. We remember them, and this pride, let's also remember those names that were eradicated. All the names that could not be said out loud in public. All the names that were never written on a government document. Those who lived in fear but still kept dancing, because although they are gone, their love is here. No matter what the world does, no matter how many fires are set, no matter how far away from home we go, they cannot destroy love. Love does not die. So take a minute, please, to remember and be strengthened by all those who have come before us, all those who fought and danced and laughed and cried and held each other when no one was watching and screamed out loud from City Hall stairs with their arms wrapped around one another. And every single person out there that felt alone, and every single person who found a family. Pride Month exists from their audacity to love. So remember, you are loved, and so were they. Thank you.
Along with all the names that we don't know to say, we have some names that we do. I'll be reading a list of folks that have died in this community in the last 30 days, and a list of folks that have died in our lives over on the anniversary of this day in past years. I invite you, if you hear the name of someone that you love, to raise your hand if you'd like and share just a sentence or two of story. Tonight, we're remembering Corey Becker, uncle of Julie Jacobs.
Yeah, my uncle was a really loving man. He was very funny, and he really loved children. His daughter, my cousin, was a second grade teacher, and every year for the 28 years that she taught, he went and read Green Eggs and Ham in her classroom with his Cat in the hat on.
Ernest William Arnold, Jr., Sarah Canaz's grandfather. Ruth Marie Rinker, Kristen's mother. Michael Rosen, beloved member of Shir Tikva. Larry Applesees, Rick's father. Molly Basak, Jane's mother.
My Zadie was Larry Applesees, and he was a magician. I had this little tiara crown thing, and whenever I went to go visit him in Munster, he would make me close my eyes, and I would give him my tiara, and somehow it would always end up behind me, and I just was in awe every time. Yeah, he was very loving, and I loved him.
Fred Block, Barbara's father. Sarah Filou Canilla, Roman Soto Fellow's mother. Ethel Ursling, Jay's mother. Sally Goldie, Dorothy's mother. Nicole Hortebis, Lisa's sister.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Nikki was the aunt to my children, and she was very down to earth. She played the ukulele. She lived in Bellingham, Washington, and she busked, and she was a really, really loving woman.
Fred Katz, Gail Katz, James's father.
I just wanted to say my dad, he described himself as an immigrant boy who came to the US at age 10 from Germany, and he became a doctor, and he was a great raconteur.
Molly Farrell McCarthy, Jerry Rosen and Martha Brand's granddaughter. Julius Miller, Mike Miller's father. Adam Morris, Fred and Wendy Morris's son and brother of Max and Jack Morris. Joseph Nudell, Jeremy Kalin's grandfather. Jane Resch Thomas, Lincoln Schmatz's beloved friend and mentor. Dolores Salzberger, Ron Salzberger's sister. Esther Marie Sauter, Sia's mother.
So actually, I just looked it up and I realized it was my paternal grandmother's yard side too, Emma. I'll only talk about my mother. Amazingly, they were both good at crochet, which is why I always wear this kippah. My mother, though, was very meek and humble and loving person, but you didn't cross her when she stood up for the underdog. You just didn't. And when somebody was in distress, she would break through her shyness. And I remember one time, I was 10 years old. I'd never seen fireworks, ever. And they had fireworks in our suburb. It was like 2 miles down the road. And I said, please, please, Dad, I really, really want to go. I really want to go. And I just started crying because I'd never seen fireworks. And my mom looked at me and she said, go get your Girl Scout sit-upon and a blanket. And she looked at my dad and said, we're going to the fireworks. You can join us if you like or not. My dad looked at her, put down his newspaper, just stood up and said, okay. And just like, may we all have the moxie to break through our shyness and stand up for people in need.
Robert Schlesinger, beloved member of Shir Tikva. Estelle Shankman, Tema's mother. Layden Siegel, Jeff's father. Harley Speck, Jeffrey Speck's father. Goldie Stoller, Karen Stoller's mother. Sandy Thompson, Brent Tomamitz's mother.
It's my mom's 6th yard site, and I've been struggling to kind of pin down one memory throughout the course of the day. The primary thoughts that I've had so far today are the difficulty around the reality that I can't really remember her voice very much anymore. And due to life circumstances, I have maybe 1, maybe 2 videos with her voice on it. And that's so hard because I never wanted to forget her voice. And as she passed so close to Pride every year, it feels compounded because she learned to accept who I was, but never understood who I was. And it was always something between us. Like, I think she did the best she had the capacity to do, even if I wanted her to do better and she wanted me to be something just a little bit different. But it makes it hard leading into Pride because I feel like there's that stronger desire to have somebody who would just hold you and hug you unconditionally from a parental perspective. And with life this year, I could have really used that. And I wish I could have had that as a parent and that she had that capacity. But I appreciate as hard as she tried with what she had.
And Robert Bob Timothy Wilson, Leah Robertson's father. Are there any other names that folks are wanting to bring forward?
It's my Aunt Joan's yard site, and I remember visiting her when I was a kid. I was maybe 10. She lived in Chicago. And she had my favorite apple juice and my favorite ice cream and my favorite kind of bread. And I remember saying, "You love the same apple juice that I do?" She was like, "You goof, I called your mom and asked what you like." And it just made me feel so important. And I miss her a lot.
So this is going to sound a little strange because it's a person who I barely knew, but they were kind of a figure to me. And that's Richard Kinky Friedman, the musician. I'm from Texas. I grew up super assimilated. And when I was 14 years old, a Jewish cowboy ran for governor. And at the time, I was getting bullied in school, just the classic, convert type stuff. It's Texas, it's the Bush era. And Kinky Friedman, who at the time, my newspaper teacher said he was a gay Jewish cowboy. So I was like, heck yeah, he's not. Also, if you look up his music, it's very dated. It's like if you're looking at Lenny Bruce or something like that. You really got to think about the time period context. But Kinky Friedman was something really special to me. It gave me something where I could be Texan, and I could also be Jewish too, even though I didn't grow up Jewish. He was who he wanted to be, and that was something that really guided me on my Jewish journey. And now he's up in that highway cafe in the sky. So, right on. It's Kinky Friedman and the Texas Jew Boys.
Hi. So it's not his yard site, but that always seems to fall during Rosh Hashanah, and he would hate me giving remembrances when the most people were there. So I'd like to talk about my dead gay dad. My dad, Stefan, moved from the Soviet Union in the 90s. He was a really, really strange guy, is the best way I can put it. He didn't go to Israel because it doesn't snow there. REM was next to Shostakovich in our CD jewel cases. He raised me in the woods in Alaska, where the only shul was Russian conservadox and hated us, but we still went down 4 times a year. I think about him every day of my life. He would hate that I was gay too, because I would be stealing his thunder. He never really got a chance to know. I don't know, there's so much about him. I guess I'll throw in a word for my Uncle Bob, who is living, who was his partner throughout most of my childhood, a Native American guy who flew the water cargo plane into Fairbanks. And we would go to St. Petersburg in Florida for the gay hyperlight aircraft competition. So I guess this is also in remembrance of St. Petersburg, which you can't be gay in Florida anymore. It's a shame. Yeah. It's weird to think that I grew up in the woods for a reason, and that was to protect me from what the world does to a kid with a single gay father. Thanks, Dad.
I wanted to add, we lost a very great rabbi. Rabbi Bert Jacobson died. Rabbi Diane Elliott, a lot of you know her. Her husband died. Bert started Kehila Synagogue, which was way before Shir Tikva, but pioneering in a congregation active in social justice and open and affirming to the gay community. So it is a great loss, but his book on the Baal Shem Tov will be published post his death. So something to look forward to.
This past week, Liaratzai, a local trans woman, was murdered. And I didn't know her, but I know people who knew her. And this past winter, another trans woman, Savannah Williams, was murdered. And it is so painful that even here in Minnesota, one of the best and safest places to be trans in the entire country, these things are still happening, and it's terrifying.
It's the yahrzeit of my good friend Will, who passed when they were 26. This will be their 10th anniversary or 10th yahrzeit. They and I met my freshman year of college when we were both new to being ourselves and just kind of hanging out in the city. And I wanted a friend to go to Target with me. And so we ended up in Target, and they were like, I don't shop in the girls section. I shop in both. And I was like, oh yeah, I like to do that too. And they were like, no, you don't understand. I shop in both. And I was like, me too. And so it was the first time that I ever met anybody who got me, and they were a real light in this world. And I'm mad every single day that they didn't make it past 26.
I'll invite folks to rise and body your spirit on page 294. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute v'chayechon uvyamechon uchaye decho beit Yisrael v'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekutsha b'richu Ela minko birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yeshvei tevel v'imru. Amen.
So MJ, I'm going to invite you to do announcements.
Okay, so full disclosure, I lobbied to do announcements tonight. I'm MJ Gilbert. I'm a member of the board for the last 6 years and for 2 more days. And there's no greater perk of all the perks that come with being a member of the board. There's no greater perk than getting to do announcements. So thank you for indulging me. And thank you to all the board members for indulging me. First of all, thank you for being here tonight. It is always and ever a joy to be in this space together. The logistical announcement at the end of the service, you could probably say it along with me. Please return the prayer books to the usher table and separate the song sheets from the Sidurim. Thank you very much. Mazal Tov to Eidan Riedel for becoming Bar Mitzvah this weekend. And thank you to everybody who made tonight possible, our beloved rabbis, Ariel and Joey, to Sophie, to Howard Orenstein, to Naomi Walthor. I'm going to get to me. I'm not going to leave myself out. To Jen Dawson, to Gordon, Eric, the Macomb Minion, Julie Jacobs, Lori Sweet, and you're welcome anytime. Thank you to our Shomrim and to Security for your steady presence and for allowing us to dig in a sense of safety. Thank you to the Olkan Zis and Kalin families for sponsoring the Oneg tonight, and I spied it. It looks really great. Save me a macaron in honor of Eidan Riedel's becoming Bar Mitzvah. There is, as always, a lot going on at Shir Tikva, and the place to find out what that is in the weekly e-news and on our website. A couple of quick updates. As we continue to embrace our value of radical hospitality to create a welcoming environment for all the members of our community, we are offering childcare on the first Shabbat of the month. It is provided to kids between the ages of 2 and 10 ages of 2 and 10 from 6 to 9, and is free of required cost. There is a suggested donation that you can find on the website because I don't want to talk about money on Shabbat. Please check our website for more information or to register. Next week, we hope you will come back, and the service is going to be a mask recommended service. If this is not the best fit for you, please join us on Zoom and bless the folks who are in the room. Maybe not ending in conflict, but you can include it in there. A reminder that this community, as a community, is here to support you. So if you are going through something, a life change, a sadness, a joy, please reach out to the rabbis so that they can activate the Shir Tikva network of support. Thank you all. Shabbat Shalom. Thus endeth the announcements.
We'll close by blessing wine and challah, and then with a song. You can find the blessing for the wine on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam berei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikre kodesh Zecher letziad Mitzrayim Kivanu v'charta Beotanu kidashta Im kohamim V'shabbat kodshecha Be'ahava uvratzon Hinchaltanu Brucha at Shechina Mekadeshet HaShabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz petei avon.
Yalla, 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 yalla.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone.